What's up? TWOSUN in a box. Got to spin it. And then we got to get it out of there. So we can check it in. And then we can check it out. Okay. I think I know which one this is. Because of these little carbon fiber circular oval inserts. But not 100% positive. Let's get it out of there. Man, it has been a really good TWOSUN summer as a collector. Ooh, I've had such a good summer. Oh, look at the black and the milling. I mean, I don't know, is that picking up that milling? Yeah, look at that. I like the black. That's steel? I think it is. Hey, let's, you know what? Let's get rid of this. I'm going to come back to the name here. I think I know which one it is, but I need to get in it just to be sure. Wow. I like the black. Man. That titanium? I'm going to say, yeah, buddy. Those are solid titanium scales. Titanium clip. Yeah. I think this one's got a little stronger magnet to it. Yep. Huh. And I figured out that these are titanium too. I figured that out on another knife. These little thumb pads or whatever they are officially called. I mean, it's still kind of a thumb stud, I guess. But man, I got all kinds of stuff laying around here. Let me put all that up. All right, here we go. I'm just going to get right in there because I want to make sure of the name. Yeah, it's a TS386 in AUS10. AUS10. The detent is super weak on this. Now, it's not so bad with that thumb flick. Yeah, that's not so horrible. It's not so bad. But the action is struggling. It feels bound up. It's not wanting to go down. And, I mean, at the end of the day, that detent is not good. Yeah, so it looks kind of like a pterodactyl or something. The profile of it. Black. It's got this black carbon fiber insert. Pretty awesome looking pocket clip. I think that's going to run really well. Just a little concerned about how thin that is, but it gets wider towards the back once it comes off that carbon fiber. So, wow. I actually think I need to, I'm going to check this. I wonder, I think I might have done this knife before. I'm going to look. All right, so I have not, but I've done something similar because it had this raised carbon fiber insert as well. And I remember saying that I thought it made, like they did it intentionally raised, but I thought it made the knife look cheaper versus just making it smooth. So on this knife, I don't know if I still feel that way or if I feel a little different. But yeah, the action is suspect, man. This knife, it's not running very well. It's not running like a knife on bearings. So let's get it apart. And that AUS10 is kind of a departure from the norm, right? I think that's why I bought this knife. Just because of the steel. Like, it's not your standard 14C28 and D2 or M390. Got a little departure. Huh. Well, if it's bound up, it's going to be one of a couple of things. The detent ball running on this stonewash finish is binding it up. Or the bearing in the blade is running on it, and it is. You can see where it's trying to cut its path on that stonewash finish. I don't know if I can make that out in the camera, but same thing on the other side. It's got a white streak in there, circle, and that's where the bearing's riding. So it's trying to cut its way through there. And until it does and cuts it fully and gets a nice smooth surface, it is going to be bound up running across that. So I'm noticing that these scales, these inserts, are glued on. And one scale in and of itself feels pretty light. The scale in and of itself feels fairly light. I'm pretty sure by the time you add the second one and then you weight of the blade is why this thing feels a little hefty. It's got some weight to it. It's not horrible, but it could have benefited from some weight relief milling in there for sure. And then the stonewash finish up onto this portion of the blade, I believe it helps sacrifice the action, because all in all the blade is pretty light. I'm guessing that it's pretty thin down here. It's thinner stock material than I would say is typical for a TWOSUN, and so it's definitely thin down there and it's sticky. So I don't know, that's the play-by-play, but keep going here, get this all cleaned up. I think the reason I'm dwelling on that is because I sort of getting ahead of myself here. The action wasn't stellar at all, and I'm not sure that I see any way in here for me to really improve it. So I'm a little apprehensive about where that's going to be, because I'm not down for not good action. I don't like it, and man, I can get a really nice knife and then not be overly underwhelmed because the action isn't good. And same thing, I can get a knife that I'm not overly impressed by, and then it have a really good action, and it can win my heart over quick because the action's good. I do see some darkness coming off of these bearings, so maybe they'll improve. We'll see. I think I'm going to increase that detent a little bit and see if I can't get that thing to fly out a little better, to hold on to that blade and then allow it to release and get some momentum. But I want to be cautious because it felt bound up in the closing function as well. So any tension I put on this is going to contribute to that binding up in the closing action. So I've got a reference point. I'm looking in between this lock bar and this scale up here, that space. And so based on what I see that space to be, I'm going to make it a little wider. And I try to use that space as my reference point. And this is pretty rigid. This lock bar is pretty stiff. Yeah, I've improved it a little tiny bit, not much. But there's a lot of tension on it, and so that in and of itself, even though the knife doesn't have good action, that lock bar may be the cause of it all, man, because it is creating a lot of tension. Very stiff. But we're going back together, so we're going to find out. Okay. How about a little drop of oil first? Got ahead of myself. There we go. I mean, feels to be moving pretty good there, so it very well could be that tension from that lock bar that's causing it all. And that's why it had a weak detent, was because it's creating so much tension whenever it got tuned before it got to me, factory, wherever. Here, let me highlight that real quick. So full titanium scale, and that pocket clip was milled in the back of that. Really nice D shape to it. So even though it's one screw, I would trust that to be a firm foothold for that pocket clip for a long time to come. So there's a D-ring cutout on this scale, and I'm having a line up on that D-ring right there, and then get everything to kind of snap into place. I think we got it. I do like the stonewash finish, the black stonewash finish. I do like it. And it's basically on the whole knife except for the pivot pin. And yeah, I think the screw and the blade. But all the scales, the pocket clip, and a portion of the blade. Okay, not a lot to this knife, putting it together, taking it apart. Well, so there you go. That action is superior to what it was before. And it's got a pretty good snap coming out of there. Almost dropped shut. Let me check blade play. Yeah, that's solid, good to go. And even there, very nice. I want to check the tension because I might put some Loctite on it, but it's got tension on it, so I think I'm going to leave it be. Yeah, almost dropped shut. Just a little bit of coaching to get it to come down. Front flipper, nice. I mean, it made all the improvement in the world. So there you go. How about a Spidey flick? Yep. Nice. All right. Well, I'm going to put this stuff up and wipe off our little thing so my eyeballs don't keep going to this oil. The action is so improved. I can't even, wow. And so let's talk about ergonomics. So this jimping on the back is a really nice hold for the forward thumb. It's just wonderful there. Could you go up there? I don't think so. It's right here. Yeah, and there's a little raised up area, and then of course it goes back down, and the hand fits in here. All of this is finished so smooth that I can just tell you, it's one of those that when I grab it, it's like it was custom made for my hand. Just so comfortable right there. Very comfortable. The pocket clip is invisible. Don't even feel it there. It's just gone where it's at. So I'm going to say this is right under that confident, only because this is such good jimping here that if I had a strong, firm grip here, I'm not sure what resistance I'd run into that would cause me to break that grip and go forward without just my hand stopping. So yeah, I'm going to say just under, only because, I mean, I've got a really good purchase here but there's nothing physically to stop my fingers from coming up and over. And so I can't truly put it at confident. It's going to have to come in at just under confident. You know, probably, I mean, just being fair to the way I measure that, I'm going to say it's not confident to confident. It's in the middle. Yeah, it's down here. Just because there's nothing here to really keep me from just ending up there. Oh, that action is so improved. Night and day. That makes me happy because I was kind of blue about it when I was doing it. It was impacting my attitude. What do we got going here? Thick material. I mean, it's just right on the edge of getting over it. And then it is what I said it was. So it started to get tight here, but then from there back, once it gets off the carbon fiber, it thickens up, and man, it ran perfect. Excuse me. Just a little bit poking its head out of the pocket there. I gotta get a drink of water. Hang tight. I'll be backing up. Flash. There I am. So, yeah, the pocket clip, I mean, man, that's really nice there. Let's try the thinner material. Very nice. And that back right corner, outside corner, yeah, runs really good. Could almost use a little additional tension. It's got good spring in it, though. Yeah, it's nice. Easy, one hand in, one hand out, even on the thicker material. I think on the thicker material, you just get it there and go, and it'll be fine. Yeah, let's check it for safety. Ooh, try to jump out of my hand. Oh, no. So, I don't know. Let's see if I can illustrate it. So, right there, the tip of the blade is like almost right at the top. Now, this is a narrow channel, so I'm going to hope I can't touch it. The tip's down below, so we'll pass it. The pocket clip was a pass. So here we go. That tip is right there. And so I'm going to pass it. The reason I'm going to pass it is because the fat of my finger, once I touch that, it's not like a lot of my finger goes down in there, but some does. So what's happening is it's touching that spacer first, and that spacer is lifting it up and sticking it over that edge. So I'm going to pass it. And that makes me happy. I wonder if it's sharp. Let's check it. I mean, this is turning out to be a surprisingly good knife. I like it. And it's so comfortable. Oh my gosh, this thing feels good in the hand. Yeah. I mean, it's got the sharpness thing figured out. Didn't need no help from me. 100% that thing will just pluck hairs. It's that sharp. Could you tune it up on a strap? A little, a little bit of that work? Sure. But nice. I mean, but this thing, the stellar thing about this knife is this spot right here. So comfortable. Wow. Could maybe put a little extra tension on this pocket clip. Possibly. But I think it's fine. Man. Comfortable. Nice knife. So, availability. I bought this at a live eBay auction for, what did I pay for it? Right at like $50 is what I paid. And it's got that AUS10 steel. It's the TS386 Wong design. And man, I dig it. I like it. Sharp. Doesn't have a back flipper, so if you got to have that, keep that in mind. But the front flipper solid. The thumb flick is good. And the spidey flick. It's all good. This would be a reasonable backup knife. Yeah, I mean, hey, I like it. $386 and a fair price. It's right at a budget point. AUS10 steel, titanium, carbon fiber, and fairly unique. I like it, and I like the black. Appreciate you watching. Hey, where else is it available? Yeah, so this knife is also available, this exact knife, because this knife came with red and black G10 scales, I believe, as well. It came in another configuration, both with AUS10, but this exact knife is available on White Mountain Knives for right around $76, $77, right in that space. So there you go. Appreciate you watching.